It's Monday morning, just come back from my first run of the week. Making progress, which is pleasing. I'm not sure whether that's down to the overnight rain making the grass easier to run on and, cooler weather, or whether I'm maybe just finally my fitness is improving. I think it's going to be both, a bit of both. I did an extra lap today because I was, feeling quite good on the run. The thing I suppose that is concerning me every time I run, I'm sweating again. I can't see out of these glasses. I think you can see them misting up. I'm just going to carry on. I may not even be able to see my phone by the end of this. I'll try and keep this brief. The thing that is concerning me with the running is the possible interaction with dogs. I don't know enough about dogs, as I've said on previous video posts, vlogs, whatever these are. I'm not an animal person. I'm partly to do with OCDs, partly carrying over some fear from childhood. Dogs, cats. I don't like. Dogs I have liked. There's been one or two relationships with dogs, one of which I'll cover shortly. But dogs in parks, because I associate parks with playing football or now running. Any interaction with dogs under those circumstances tends to be because I'm running and I don't have the necessary skills, if indeed skills are required, to deal with that moment. As someone who's never had a dog, as someone who's never really spent enough time with a dog, I'm not sure what you're meant to do in that situation. I'm not sure what owners expect a jogger to do in that situation. I've only been running I'd say about 8 to 10 weeks now, but been chased 3 times by dogs. So I think that's a fair old average. That's concerning. I need to know how to deal with that moment better. So Friday's dog encounter with, was it Beckford? Again, I don't know if that was a dog name. If it's if I look up a glossary of dogs' names online, whether that will appear. But let's call him Beckford, or her. I think it's Beckford's the guy's name, isn't it? It came for me repeatedly until the owner put it on the leash. Now, how could I have handled that situation better? What am I meant to do? What is the thing to do in these situations? Am I meant to stop my run, which I did, but I just stood there waiting for the dog to go away or to be called away by the owner? Or should I crouch down, proffer a hand? Is my hand likely to be bitten if I do that? Is the dog chasing me because it's hostile or because it simply wants to play? I don't know. I've tried to look at my small talk interactions with people and I've asked myself, is this something that can cross over into another species? Can I transfer it to dogs? With most of my small talk, it's preceded by a handshake. Some of the small talk, as indeed it does now with like small talk on Sunday mornings when I go in to get the neighbour's paper, it becomes big small talk. It can go on for 5 or 6 minutes, though thankfully yesterday, as I said, it was just brief. Is there anything in my small talk interaction with people that I can use to small talk with dogs or to kind of communicate with dogs? What do these dogs want to do when they're chasing me? If you're a dog owner, if you're someone that walks their dog in parks, if your dog's ever gone after a jogger, tell me what you as a dog owner expect from this situation. Tell me maybe how joggers who've been chased by dogs deal with that situation. Email me daniel@westegg1607.co.uk, or you can tweet me at 1607westegg, that's 1607. Because I think this is something that's going to keep happening. I think it's something I need to get better at tackling. And without any real segue, my dog story, the only dog I've ever felt comfortable with, long since dead. I won't mention his name. I was living with a couple of friends in this house in the Battersea area about 15, 16 years ago. I was living there that summer. Battersea, borderline Clapham Common North side. Now, if you go online and you do a search of Clapham Common North side ghosts, It's supposedly a notoriously haunted area, that side of Clapham. And as I've said, some of the strange incidents I had after losing my mum, I'm happy that I found scientific explanations for them. You know, when you're low, when you're depressed, when you're grieving, you are vulnerable to things like sleep paralysis. And I have no doubt now that those many experiences that I had could be attributed to that. And if it ever happens now, I know what it is, and it's not something that bothers me too much. I just brush it off. But this particular place, both girls, or at least one of them, claimed might be too strong a word. It's like I'm being disparaging, but they maintained that they had the gift. Is it a gift? I don't know. That they could communicate with the other side. You know, the Spanish community can be very superstitious, despite being Catholics. I kind of, I didn't dismiss that as long as, it wasn't constantly drummed into my head. I didn't want to be hearing it, because as I say, at that particular time, 2-3 years on from losing my mum, I felt kind of pretty vulnerable. One of the girls, the girl who said she had this gift for communicating with the other side, she had a room at the top of the house. It was a maisonette, split level maisonette, very big place. They had a downstairs neighbour. They also had a dog. The dog was a little Yorkshire Terrier that I got on really well with. Couldn't go outside, which is the strange thing, because they just had Clapham Common across the road. Couldn't go outside because it was vulnerable to infections. It was an alien dog. So it basically go about its business inside the property. And, within a week or two of going there, I realised I had to watch where I was walking, because I could just step into a stall. I had no slippers. I'm not a slipper guy. I kept my socks on. But, I was just very vigilant in there. I would never have thought that there would come a time when I would just wake up in the mornings, walk into a kitchen and pick up a dog stall with a bit of tissue. But that's what happened. I just got used to living in that kind of way. That's probably got nothing to do with this story. Let's get back to the story. I was told, well, I was sleeping downstairs. I was in a fold-up bed again. As I say, the fold-up bed keeps appearing in my life at regular intervals. And, it was very uncomfortable. I've got a bad back from spending so many years in fold-up beds. So one night I had the opportunity to sleep upstairs. And right away that night, sleep paralysis, although one of the stronger episodes, it really kind of shook me up. And again, at that time, I didn't know what sleep paralysis was. Anyway, I was told, oh yeah, you heard them, didn't you? You heard what was in there. You believe me now, because that room at the top was supposedly the most haunted in the property. Fast forward some weeks, I was freelancing at the time. I was a football journalist. I think I was doing an interview from the property, a phone interview. I would work from that top room. There was a PC in there. I would work from that room when the girls were out in their day jobs. It was 3:10, a Friday afternoon, summer of 2003. The little dog is by my side. We've bonded by then. And I just suddenly, out of nowhere, hear this thing. And I can still make the sound. I'm going to make the sound. I hope I don't look stupid when I'm making this sound. I just heard, I remember it like it was today. It's not something that I will ever forget. It's probably the one incident I can't dismiss. The dog shot to my side, urinated on my foot. I just stood up. And I remember I remember actually saying aloud, this was a time when I was still talking to myself. I remember standing up, saying aloud, what the was that? I was just absolutely rigid. And that's the one incident I can't dismiss. And that is the closest relationship I've ever had with a dog. I used to stroke it regularly with the left hand. Would always wash the hand before dinner or writing or doing anything that required my hands to be clean. Never stroked the dog with the right hand. But I have to say I did enjoy the stroking. It was rare for me, but I did enjoy the stroking. Anyway, dog interactions between joggers and dog owners. If you're either a jogger or a dog owner, Daniel at westegg1607.co.uk. Give me some advice how best to deal with these situations, or tweet me at 1607westegg. Subscribe to get immediate notifications of new videos, and maybe I'll catch up with you later. I hope you enjoy your day.